Well, hello, and more hello to all you wisdom walkers out there. Want to be wisdom walkers, should be wisdom walking, will be wisdom walking. This is Judge Maria and Saroma coming to you with the astrology for self mastery for the first half of November. And yes, I am celebrating Dias de los Muertos, as you can see on my t shirt. Yeah, celebrating my mom and my dad and all the ancestors that help us to remember that it's all about the love. Yeah, it's all about the love. And I just want to say too, this t-shirt came from one of my most favorite places on the planet. It happens to be a cemetery in Los Angeles, and it is right behind Paramount Studios. And it was actually where, you know, film directors and stars got buried. So it's like, the Hollywood cemetery that you can easily get access to because there's places where other people are buried, but you don't get as easy access to this one. Judy Garland's there, Mickey Rooney's there, Toto's there. I mean, it's just fantastic. I love that place. And after this trend came for people to honor the Day of the Dead and to appreciate cemeteries not as a place of fright, but as a place of honoring. That place does an incredible celebration every year, and anytime you go now, like people are there having picnics because it's so beautiful. It's got swans and peacocks and beautiful lawns. And so people are there just enjoying and being, in that ancestor energy. And, me being a fire person, that's like, yeah, that it's a great place to be. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you as we open to this astrology for this first half of the November, which is it's big. It is a big, 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 big. Yeah, it's a big time again. Dia de los Muertos. And here's my quotes for November for you. This is a month of 38 different aspects, including a full moon and a new moon. And so it is just jam packed. I think there's only like 6 of those 38 days where there aren't any aspects, but every other day filled up. Yeah. So, as it says here from Lena Stevens in The Parapath, this is discovery on many levels, discovery of parts of yourself you never knew or have forgotten about, newfound stamina for change, flexibility you did not think you had, uncomfortable truths about yourself or others, and many things that may have been hidden under the surface, both personally and in your greater environment and communities. This is all part of the completion cycle of this year, as well as an opening into a new landscape that requires a final clearing of past attachments. Yes. So, November 2025 will be marked by numerous pivotal astrological events that invite us to explore new directions, release control, and realign with what truly matters. Several planets changing signs and direction of motion will offer us an opportunity to reevaluate the structures we have been building and open ourselves to new perspectives and possibilities. And that is from Moon Omens, one of the go to sites I use for this astrological report for you. Yeah, absolutely. So, we, of course, are still in Scorpio season. So, this is a time for a lot of passion and desire for transformation. Yes, that's what Scorpio brings us. Like, let's get at what is blocking you from living in and being in the truth of who you are. Yes, that's truly what Scorpio is about. So here are the impact days for November. I broke them up into threes because, yeah, I'm going to be doing three reports for you. I cannot get everything done in just two. So here in the beginning, which will be from the 1st through the 15th, We have the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 9th, the 11th, and the 12th. Yeah, as impact days. And some of them only have one aspect, but it's a powerful aspect, especially with these retrogrades that we have going on. Then in the middle of the month, it's the entire week of the 16th through the 22nd, especially the 21st. Yeah, and that's the winter solstice. And then at the end of the month, you get the 24th, the 25th, the 27th, the 29th, and 30th as impact days. Woo! That's a lot. That's a lot of impact days, right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now, some of you that watch me on a regular basis may be wondering, like, oh, why am I not in the kitchen? Well, today's been a little crazy. And yeah, I barely finished pulling all of this together for you because I am so discombobulated by the shift back into standard time. It's really doing a number on me. So if you see some things off in what I'm presenting, like dates or even the names of the planets, please forgive me. But it's just that it's crazy right now. I just feel really, really crazy. Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, I needed to cook today for some reason. Well, it's a good reason. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. That's why I keep telling you all about things from the inside out and how important it is to have faith and a high vibration despite whatever is going on. And so I'm not in a position where I need food stamps, but I am on a fixed income. And so the timing with things sometimes can be a little off. Like this month, it's a little stretch before I get my cha-ching day, right? So yesterday, without me asking, I was given a cooked chicken, a big one. Yeah, something I don't buy anymore, you know. Um, so anyway, I knew what to do with that chicken right away. I'm like, oh my God, I got soup. I got soup. Half now. I'll freeze the other half and I can have that next week. So I had to get started on the chicken making, the soup making, while I'm still trying to put all of these video, pictures and stuff together for you and information. Plus, my some of my favorite astrologers didn't download their stuff till yesterday, right? So I'm like reading, researching, scrambling around. Anyway, all I have to say is my kitchen's a mess, so I didn't have space to set up there. So you get to see my living room area, and that's Horace, my beautiful baby grand piano in the background that you're seeing there. So that's why we have a change in the environment, the atmosphere. Okay, I got some quotes that I want to share with you. And I think I learned that I can actually put them up on the screen. I don't know how well you can see it with my background, but anyway, let me go through these real quick. So there is Hector. Hey, Hector. I feel it too, dear. Yeah, right. And let's not talk about Three Eyes Atlas. I'll bring you information about that in the next one I do. But that I don't even want to call it a comet. That celestial visitor from another dimension is unbelievable in the energy that it is giving us, what it's doing. I'm feeling it. Everybody I talk to is feeling it. So that's the other thing that's going on. Yeah, we are really being bombarded with a lot of energy for growth. So thank you. Thank you, Hector. Love it. And then there's Daphne, cute hat. Thank you. There's some times when you just got to really go into honoring the ancestors. So this is very pharaonic. I was feeling a lot of Egyptian energy over the last couple of days, and I'm connected to Hesmet, if you know who she is. So I figured, yeah, it was time to put the hat on, put the crown on. Yeah. Thanks for noticing. Love it. And then Tracy saying, hello, all. Happy holidays. Thank you, Tracy. She is amazing. We've never really met yet to have conversation, but I know she's like just amazing. It's going to happen. Yeah. Because, like I said, I probably am going to start doing some Zoom gatherings with the regular folks that show up so that we can have some more say about what's going on in our wisdom walks. But to continue, let me share with you that starting today, we have the first aspect in this month of November, and it is a square. So another reason to feel discombobulated. Um, it's Venus in Libra squaring Jupiter in Cancer. Yes, see that? Look, I couldn't put a space between the R and the N. I apologize, but like I said, I'm crazy. This aspect is perfect for having fun, but it's not the best time for serious, and I'm sorry, let me take the typing off. Serious work. Set aside important tasks for later and enjoy some lighthearted excitement with friends and family instead. And that would be great if I didn't have to do a video tonight. But hopefully, some of you all got a chance to use this unusual energy, tight energy of a square in a very positive way. And I do feel positive energy, folks. I really do, despite everything that's going on. But I tell you, it was what was yesterday was Saturday. Okay, so Friday into Saturday, I got a huge download from my guide group. It was very, very powerful. And when I fully woke up, I realized something had shifted, like there has been this shift that's going on. So, yeah, and not everybody's going to feel it all at the same time, but I'm telling you, the shift happened. And then, like I said, I got the chicken. Also, somebody is gifting me a used, beautiful Sony 65-inch or 75-inch, I don't know how big, but it's big, television screen and a cabinet to hold it. So I'm like, oh my God, yeah. So there's stuff going on. We're in a very, very powerful time because I don't remember the last time we had a positive square. So this is something, again, telling us something shifting. Now, tomorrow, November 3rd, we get some more flow energy, this time in the form of a trine. And this is Mars in Scorpio, trining Neptune, which is still retrograde in Pisces. This sensual aspect sparks a strong magnetic attraction today, making it easy to charm or be charmed. Harness this energy to connect with right relations or even ignite a new romance. But this is Scorpio season, so remember not to cross your integrity boundaries. And quite literally, that's saying don't present yourself as a piece of meat. Yeah, do not objectify yourself if you're female or male, because I'm telling you, with what is going on with the shift that we're having in humanity, those kinds of consciousness and belief systems are going to be even more painful than ever. Absolutely. Now, on Tuesday, we get Mars entering Sagittarius. Yeah, Mars entering Sagittarius. I'm going to blow this up so I can really read it. On November 4th, Mars enters Sagittarius until December 15th, which will be a big shift in the way we move over the next 2 months. Mars, the planet of action and aggression, is quite erratic when in Sagittarius. Think of a college kid on spring break. There's an increased desire to go on adventures, try new things, and oftentimes get in trouble. While Mars and Sag will lead you to a place you've never imagined, what's beautiful about this transit is that it reinforces the importance of learning through doing. So say yes to more activities. Wow, right here at the beginning of the month. A little more message. After we've clarified what we really want, that happened with Mars and Scorpio. Now, with Mars and Sagittarius, it's time to pack our bags and prepare for the adventure. Mars and Sagittarius awakens our hero and the heroine's urge to explore, discover, and push boundaries. With Mars and Sagittarius, the world is an oyster, whether we book a flight, go and check out that local spot we've never visited before, or simply open a book and travel with our mind's eye. This is a time when what's different becomes enticing, and we're inspired to get out there and see what life has to offer. And that, of course, is from Astro Butterfly. Yeah. And here's the second part of the message. On November 4th, Mars, the celestial god of war, anger, passion, and action, burst into mutable fire sign Sagittarius. This 6-week transit encourages the collective to move fast and ask questions later, take risks, speak truth to power, and explore boldly. The same day, Mars forms a hard aspect called an opposition with eccentric, rebellious, and unpredictable Uranus retrograde in Gemini. We have not experienced this explosive planetary connection since the last time Uranus was in Gemini 84 years ago. Do the math. This is an unstable connection, so it's important to be aware of triggers and monitor impulsive actions leading to life changes, aggressive behavior, or physical injuries. This aspect will affect mutable signs Sagittarius, Gemini, Pisces, and Gemini the most. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Yes, I'm Pisces. So, but again, just really interesting energy. And the fact of how it is coming, like how it is showing up, it's just really, really interesting. I'm just like, yeah, amazing. So let's move on because this is the opposition that was just mentioned. And this is Mars in Sagittarius opposing Uranus retrograde in Gemini. Issues reach their boiling point today as anger and resentment that have been building below the surface suddenly gets released in an explosive matter. Fight the temptation to lash out and attack. And if you're like me, of course, we're thinking about all the stuff that's going on right now, right here in the United States and other parts of the world, where people's rights and people's support is being diminished or taken away from them. And if you know anything about history, um, the American Revolution, the French Revolution, the Russian Revolution, and some smaller ones that don't get talked about enough all happen when people's basic needs are not being met. Yeah. But like I keep telling you, this is an inside out job. So it's really important not to give into craziness or put yourself into a line of danger. And remember, the universe really has your back. The universe wants you to be okay. And I really think so much of what is going on where people are losing food, home, job, it's because it's time for us to really reach out to get help and to receive help, to really begin to create community with our family and our friends and people that we know or even people we don't know. Like that's really, really important. Really important. So, yeah. So I just wanted to say that. So here we go with Wednesday, the 5th. And this is when we have our full moon in Taurus. So I got this tap. Oh, wait, let me show this from, this is important from Daphne before I go into this. Yes, people we don't even know. Exactly. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thank you for emphasizing that. So important. So this full moon that we are going to be having, and I apologize because I'm trying to get this to go big. There we go. These I got a hit from spirit to just remind you about what the full moon meaning is in astrology. These powerful lunations symbolize the completion, accumulation, and the celebration of a job well done, a goal long yearned for, now nothing but in the very recent past. You can finally sit on your metaphorical laurels, look around at what you have done, take that deep breath, and rest a little. You deserve it. Full moons are not the time to start new things or worry much about what comes next. Instead, it's about being present and focused on the achievement that you have accomplished. Shay. So we have this full moon in Taurus, and this quote is from Astro Butterfly from last year. She said, I open to the changes that are flowing to me. I root myself deeper in my truth. I embrace my purpose and my medicine. I open to the truth of all that I am. Ashe, it's beautiful affirmation. So the super full moon, and yeah, it's a super moon. This is a one of three that we've been having, where the moon is in perigee, which means it is closest as it can get to the Earth during its revolutions around. So this is our super moon. I read before where the last one we had was the brightest, the biggest and the brightest, but this one is supposed to be that too. And you know what? It's all true. It's all right. Um, in the First Nations culture, this would be considered the beaver moon because this is when beavers begin to take shelter in their lodges here in the Northern Hemisphere. Now, this is an unaspected, means there's no other aspects going on at the same time that the moon is with Taurus. So it's an archetypal Taurus moon that seems to bring a stabilizing energy to Scorpio season's proverbial intensity. The full moon ruler, Venus, however, while in domicile in Venus, is anything but peaceful at the moment, sitting at the apex of a T square with Pluto and Jupiter. Okay. So that's not so much of an aspect as just kind of how they're positioned right now. And that's what she means by, there's going to be still some intensity going on. So here's the spiritual meaning of the beaver moon. Why the beaver moon? Again, it's the time of year when beavers begin to shelter in their lodge, having laid up sufficient food stores for a long winter ahead. The beaver moon in 2025 holds spiritual significance of preparation, patience, and release. I'll repeat that: preparation, patience, and release. Absolutely. This time marks the transition to winter here in the Northern Hemisphere, encouraging a focus on securing your foundations, reflecting on your hard work, and letting go of what no longer serves you. The energy of this moon is about building stability and being grateful for what you have before winter sets in. Wow, that's pretty powerful. That's pretty powerful because so many people in this country right now have had their understanding and experience of stability shaken to the roots. But what I want everyone to know, because I have been in that situation and mostly of my own making, truly. But even that, it's scary when you don't know where you're going to sleep tonight. You don't know if you can get a good meal. um, know that again, you can open up to receiving. There are people that will help. I've gotten so much support, just like yesterday with somebody else. Did you want a free chicken? Are you on the list? And I'm like, what list? What chicken? You know, um, and that's what happens. And it happens because I stay in an abundance mentality, in a belief that because I have purpose, because I'm here for the good of all, that God and the universe is always going to make sure that I have good food, I have a place to sleep, and I have whatever it is that is required for me to be my best and to do my work. So it's a belief system. Yes, I've developed it over 25 years or more, but I can tell you, just even thinking this a little bit can make a huge difference in what can show up for you. So hopefully that is helpful. Yeah. So here's the message more about this super full moon. During Scorpio season, a time of the year centered around going deeper into our transformation journey, deepening intimacy with both ourselves and others, and exploring matters of trust, power, and energetic exchanges, the full moon in Taurus reminds us of the value of simplicity and invites us to come back to our bodies, our senses, and our needs. This event offers us an opportunity to check in with ourselves and make sure we are honoring our values, needs, and feelings. The Taurus moon is an opportunity to refine our ability to discern between when it is time to try to preserve the known and hold on to the familiar, and when instead it is time to change, evolve, and transform. Yeah. And, clearly, right now we are in a process of great change, great transformation, and great evolution. So again, with this moon showing up for you, just like it said, take a chance to just think about where you are, what you have accomplished, what you'd like to accomplish, but give yourself a chance to pause, take a breath, and just feel good about yourself. And I'll tell you, when I've been in a position where I, didn't have stability in a 3D way, let me say that, um, I found just giving myself a chance to just stop, pause, stop worrying, stop crying, stop being so anxious, but just to stop and pause and be grateful for what I have. Even if that is about, oh my God, God is breathing me, God is keeping my heart beating, you know. Going into that level of frequency will really, really make a difference. Ashe. And now we go to Thursday, the 6th. And here we have a sextile, some more flow energy. This is Mars again in Sagittarius, sextiling Pluto in Aquarius. The goal oriented aspect gives us the endurance and stamina to reach our ambitions today. Stay focused on your task, and you will be rewarded. So that's a really good one to know, especially coming out of the moon energy, the pull of the moon. And also on this day, we get Venus entering Scorpio. Now, the days are getting darker, the nights are getting longer here in the Northern Hemisphere, and our relationships are becoming more intimate when Venus enters mysterious Scorpio. Over the next 3.5 weeks, this is a great transition for relationships of any kind. We will find it easier to relate to others, to put ourselves in their shoes, to accept and love other people for who they are. And I should say for who they really are. So on November 7th, 2025, Venus enters Scorpio until the 30th of the month, and things get more intense all of a sudden. Does it help that Venus immediately squares Scorpio's ruler Pluto, now at 1 degree Aquarius? No, it doesn't. The first days of the ingress are as Scorpio, as we'd expect them to be. But mid month onwards, Venus forms some beautiful water trines with Jupiter in Cancer and Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, channeling that scorpionic depth into healing and meaningful connection. And another way I would break this down for you is to say that any intense, shadowy, ancestral wounding stuff that gets pushed up, it has a purpose so that you can get back into flow with what is true and real for you. So don't stay attached to and start making up, oh my God, I always get bad luck, something's bad happening, or this, no, don't go there. This is just a healing process. And of course, that's what Scorpio is great at, of pushing things up and out. So hold on to that and you get those nightmares or you get that disruption or trigger, know that it is for your best because, again, we've got not one, not two, but three water trine energies this month. Yeah. And according to the Dagara wisdom that I keep, November is a double water month. Yeah, double water. Yeah, so it's a big time for releasing and letting go of what can no longer serve us, ashe. So more message about Venus and Scorpio. Venus, the planet of love, beauty, relationships, and material possessions, moves into her detriment on November 6th in fixed water sign Scorpio. Love and romance takes on an intense and passionate tone as Venus's typically harmonious nature is out of her element here. This is a period of honesty and deep emotional connection, as superficial relationships won't cut it. Venus is asking you to dive into the depths concerning the bonds with others. Expect contracts, agreements, and love that's no longer necessary and financially draining you to fall away. Yeah, absolutely. And this kind of energy has been moving. It's really been moving. Um, all year long. Like this has been a big message that, things that really aren't supporting the truth of who we are, the truth of why we're here, it is falling away. It is not going to be sustained. Yeah. Tracy says, grateful we have the support of a double water month. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with you. Definitely. So, from Venus in Scorpio, we go Friday, November the 7th, to, yes, Uranus retrograding back into Taurus because it's retrograde right now in Gemini, but now it's going to do like what's been happening with Saturn and Neptune going back into Pisces out of Aries. Yeah. So, here's the message with this. If I can get this up big, here we go. Almost. I'm almost there. Boop, boop. There we go. Uranus is a planet of awareness. It's the magnifying glass that helps us see what we couldn't otherwise see. When Uranus is direct, that awareness comes from the world outside through messages, events, or other people. When Uranus is retrograde, the awareness comes from inside. So it's almost like Uranus becomes a personal planet. Uranus's last visit through Taurus is a chance to close a 7-year chapter of life with a bang. In 2026, when Uranus enters Gemini for good, there's no turning back. This retrograde remix gives us one final chance to release toxic energy and begin anew for the upcoming year. Yeah, double water month, November. It's a perfect moment to chase your desires while staying mindful of deception. So look at that time period, y'all. November 7th through February the 4th, we get this powerful retrograding of Uranus. Yeah, very powerful. Uranus final retrograde in Taurus. Uranus retrograde re enters Taurus for the final time in our lifetime on November 7th. This marks the closing chapter of a revolutionary cycle that began in 2018. Since Uranus has first entered Taurus, the planet of disruption and innovation has radically transformed how we relate to money, self worth, beauty, and the earth itself. We've witnessed sweeping shifts in currency, financial systems. Yeah, they're getting rid of the penny, y'all. Technology, and our relationship to stability and comfort. As Uranus retrograde revisits Taurus one last time, it asks us to reflect how we have evolved in this area of life. It's time to identify where we have become too attached to the familiar, and if we're finally ready to embrace the unknown. And this comes from one of the astrologers associated with astrology.com, Adamus Cisse. So, yeah, um, for those of you who are Taurus and, remembering some of the challenges of when Uranus was in your sign since 2018, just know that it's coming around again, not to put you through what you've already gone through. Okay. This is really, really, really important for you to understand. It's coming around again, just like Neptune and Saturn and Pisces for me, to help you be more conscious that you're not who you were in 2018, that you've really stretched and grown, that you have wisdom, that you know the difference, and that you've also seen yourself grow. You've seen yourself reach out for help and get it. So you know more now that the universe does have your back. Yeah. So this is nothing to be, concerned about or, oh God, here we go again. Don't do that to yourself. This is like a learning period. And that's for all of us, but especially for those who are Taurian. This is a learning period for you so that when it leaves and goes into Gemini for real, you'll be ready for the new adventures that come. Yeah. So it's a time to just look and see, like, have I really let go of what I was supposed to let go of? Am I still holding on? Why am I still holding on when I know it doesn't work? It's that kind of a thing. Yeah. It's going to be okay. And Tracy says, Miranda Hurd, hello. Okay. Hello, Miranda Hurd. Wonderful. I tried to not be paying attention to what is going on as while I'm trying to talk, but I have to tell you right now, I'm up to 14 people watching this, which is highly unusual. So something's going on. So now, oh, Miranda says hello. Hello. How wonderful. I love that. I'm so used to, for the years I've been doing this, like having 0 people while I'm live streaming, or maybe 1 or 2. I shouldn't be so dramatic. But it's again, something has shifted, something's going on. More people are, just open to really wanting to self-master and wisdom walk. So I am so grateful for that. Daphne says, "Yay!" Love it, love it. So on this same day, we get a square with Venus in uh, Scorpio, squaring Pluto in Aquarius. And as we know, this is a tight energy. And this one isn't like the square that we have on today, on November 2nd. This is more of a traditional, typical square because it says today isn't the best for relationships as we may feel controlled by jealous partners trying to clip our wings. It might be necessary to end suffocating partnerships to regain your independence. Yeah, absolutely. And again, this is more of what's been going on in this year of helping us stretch and grow and go beyond, what we've tolerated. I was just preaching and coaching one of my clients about the fact that, God doesn't need you to suffer and take on other people's pain in order to be safe, in order to be a good person. Yeah, that's trauma telling you that. That's not God. God don't need you to suffer in order to be loved and supported, right? So again, that's what's happening. Energy is showing up to get us to be more conscious of, is this relationship really reciprocal? Like what I'm putting out, am I able to get back? Like, and if not, why not? What is going on? So just even asking those questions is really, really important right now. And Daphne says, we are watching and learning. Ashe. And Miranda gives a yes to it. Love it. Love it. So as we move along, next Sunday, the 9th, drum roll, please, because we have our third and final Mercury retrograde. And it's happening in Sagittarius. Yeah, it's happening in Sagittarius. So Mercury retrograde is one of those astro routines we religiously revisit every 3 to 4 months. There's no way around it. And whether we like it or not, Mercury retrogrades are necessary. Otherwise, there would never be lessons learned, no opportunities to fix things, and all those subtle course connections that might not sound as exciting as a Jupiter trine, but make our lives easier in the long run. And this retrograde is going to last, folks, from November the 9th, 10th to the 29th to the 30th. So for the rest of the month, starting next week. The third and final Mercury retrograde period of the year begins on November the 9th through the 10th in Sagittarius, where Mercury is also in detriment. Now, when you hear that, if you don't know, when they say a planet is in detriment rather than domicile, when it's in detriment, it means that it doesn't get along. That with the zodiacal space that it is occupying. So it's like if you get invited to the home of somebody you really don't like, but you got to be there. So that's when it's in detriment. When it's in domicile, it's like, oh my God, I'm back home. I'm in one of my homes. I'm back where I'm supposed to be. Yeah. So Mercury again, it's in detriment in Sagittarius. This combination can stir up miscommunications, ideological clashes, and the exposure of hidden truths, especially around belief systems and global cultural narratives. Yeah, and that's, of course, very impactful and meaningful for what we're going through right now. Absolutely. So, more message for you about Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius. Mercury stationing retrograde in Sagittarius brings us an invitation to question our beliefs, worldview, and the assumptions we have internalized as truths and recognize how they impact our lives. During this time, we are being asked to question what we think we know, what we think is true, what we think is right or wrong, and discover unfamiliar perspectives, cultural traditions, and life philosophies. This transit is an opportunity to become aware of when dogmatic beliefs, mental rigidity, or arrogance has replaced genuine curiosity. Mercury's retrograde journey through the sign of the centaur is an invitation to realign with what is true in the present moment and challenge the narratives through which we interpret life. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Big, powerful one. And so, so important right now. Like, we really need this right now. Yeah. We need this level of mindset and questioning and looking. Yeah. Tracy says, I have Jupiter in Gemini, which is in detriment. Yes. For a good reason. This is how we get stretched and grown. And at Christian Lumpkin 984, I believe that's a smiling face, or maybe it's like this. Oh my God. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Love it. So, yeah, Mercury retrograde is on, and I'm not focusing on the typical Mercury retrograde stuff of don't fly, don't get a surgery, don't go here, don't go there. Watch out, things are gonna fall apart with your technology and all this stuff. Yeah, because it doesn't have to be that way. It's only going to be that way if the universe is trying to hold you up from doing something that's not going to have a right outcome. Okay. So we don't need to go into Mercury retrograde in this fear mode of, oh my God, I can't, I can do it. No, if you got to get surgery, you're going to get surgery. And Mercury retrograde might be the best time to get surgery. Right. So don't just It's like it's saying, don't just automatically go into a belief system. Sit back and question it. Ask your ancestors and your spirit guides, like, should I take this trip? Should I take this journey? Is this a good time? Don't leave it to Mercury to make that decision because, yes, it and traditionally it's thought like this might not be a good time, because Mercury retrograde is what? It's a pause time. It's a time we're supposed to sit back and just wait. Yeah. But there are times when, especially if the message is coming from the orders are coming from on high, we need to go do what we need to do. Absolutely. Yeah. So on Tuesday, November the 11th, which is a very powerful portal day, 1111. Historically, it's got a big energy around it. Yeah, so you'll see a lot of videos on YouTube about 1111. So astrologically, here's what's happening for us. Yeah, this is Jupiter going retrograde in Cancer from November 11th to March 26th, 2026. Look at that. Look at that numerological emphasis that we're being given here. Yeah. Miranda says, understanding this. Love it. Love it, Miranda. Now, Jupiter retrograde in Cancer is an opportunity to renovate our beliefs about emotions, emotionality, having needs, and being vulnerable, as well as an invitation to look at our past, our family, and our childhood from a new, higher timeline perspective. Wow. Wow, that's some powerful stuff. I love it. And for a lot of us, this has been going on, but to get this kind of energy, and especially from the master of the solar system, Jupiter, it's really really pretty significant. Now, I want to jump back to reminding you about when Jupiter went into Cancer and what that meant, because that happened in June, and it will continue. It'll be in Cancer until June of 2026. As it says here, the rest of the year brings the potential for spiritual enlightenment as the planet of luck and understanding moves into this caring and intuitive water sign. This transit encourages us to dive deep into our feelings, as trusting our instincts can lead to great success. Yes. Okay. Now, what Jupiter in Cancer teaches. Jupiter in Cancer reminds us of the benevolence of the universe, that the world is actually a good and safe place to be in. Something along the lines of Matthew's quote, whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. That's abundance mentality. The idea implies two important things. We all have, we are not starting from nothing. Jupiter in Cancer reminds us of the talents and resources we already hold, internal or external. Two, what we have can be further expanded. Jupiter in Cancer emphasizes that real growth starts from what already exists. We can't amplify what we don't have, but when we focus on what we do have, even if small, it can grow into something much greater. And that's from Astro Butterfly. Yeah, it's wonderful. Also, what Jupiter in Cancer teaches is that recognizing, being grateful for, and capitalizing on our own resources is the key to unlocking greater abundance. Regardless of your natal Jupiter sign, meaning where it was on your birth chart, in the year ahead, we will all be under the influence of Jupiter in Cancer's mantra, which says, nurture what matters and it will multiply. Oh, I love this. This message is from Astro Butterfly. Yes, and I strongly encourage you to read the entire message on her website, which you'll find in our blog for June. Beautiful. Beautiful. Now, let's look at what the message is with this Jupiter retrograding into Cancer from November 11th until March 26th. Just a couple of days after Mercury, Jupiter stations retrograde 2 at 25 degrees of the sign of Cancer. Jupiter has been in Cancer since June 9th, emphasizing the themes of emotional honesty, emotional growth, and emotional self awareness. And I coin all of that as emotional intelligence. This transit has been motivating us to learn more about our emotional nature and needs. And Jupiter's shift of motion is an opportunity to revisit and reflect on what has been going on since June. Jupiter retrograde is a time of reconsideration and reevaluation of our beliefs, of what we believe to be true, and of how we attribute meaning to our experiences. Again, you hear that message coming back around about being, open to learning more, open to being, more flexible in your brain and your thought pattern, really being in a growth mindset. Yeah. And that's from November astrology under Moon Omens. And then from Astro Butterfly, Jupiter is currently in a tight trine to Saturn, which is good news. Both Jupiter and Saturn change direction this month. So, this slower than usual pace in the sky means that they stay linked in a trine orb for longer, and trine is a flow energy. This gives us a chance to make some moves that are truly in our best interests. Jupiter and Saturn are social planets. They shape how we deal with the world, from the social circles we gravitate toward to how we handle jobs and everyday responsibilities. So, when these two giants are in alignment, we just find it easier to function socially. Stationary Jupiter trine Saturn helps us feel like we belong to something bigger than ourselves and find our natural place in the world. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's a really big one because if you know the Greek and Roman mythology, so Saturn is really Jupiter's daddy. Yeah, yeah. Saturn's really wait a minute. I'm lying. I apologize. I'm lying. I'm lying. I'm lying. That's right. I'm thinking about Uranus. But anyway, but still, Saturn in relationship to Jupiter is a really powerful. And Saturn's always the one that wants everything to be in form and structure, and Jupiter's like, okay, let's go big, let's make it a bigger form and a structure. So it's like the two brothers coming together to make things what? Yeah, to make things better, to make things grow. So yeah, really, really cool. Miranda says, understanding this, love it. And wow, I can feel it. Ooh-hoo-hoo. Yeah, I'm feeling it too, Miranda. I'm with you, girl. This is really big. Because again, a retrograde can mean like things are gonna not happen. This retrograde to me feels like, okay, we're getting the boiling pot out, we're getting the big pot out, and we're getting ready to cook up something for a big feast. It's like a stone soup, if you know that folk tale. Like we get ready to have a big celebration, a big banquet here, and we're gonna make everybody be able to come. It's gonna be really, really powerful. Yeah. So this is a retrograde that we can really feel good about and know that it's slowing things down so that things can grow. Shay. And then on Wednesday, November the 12th, we get a conjunction again between Mercury and Mars, these two personal planets. Now, this time it's in Sagittarius, and this time Mercury is retrograde. The last conjunction they had not that long ago, only a couple of weeks ago, was in the sign of Scorpio. But now this is a great day to go on an adventure if you've accepted to experience the world with an open mind. Mercury is retrograde and playing trickster, so it's crucial we distinguish the profound insights from potential illusions and make sure that our action, which is Mars, are grounded in a clear understanding of reality. Yes, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energy here. Absolutely wonderful. And then last but not least, for this first half of November, with all of these aspects, we get Yes, Vesta entering Capricorn. Now, Vesta is the brightest and largest asteroid in the sky and is named for the Vestal virgins in ancient Rome who were keepers of the sacred flame. If a Vestal chosen at age 6 allowed the flame to go out, she was beaten. Vestals took a vow of chastity for 30 years, at the end of which they were set free and then answered to no man. This gave them a unique status in Roman times, and why the term virgin was often used to describe a woman who belonged to herself. Now, Vesta represents our fire within that empowers us to achieve our sacred contracts with home and family specifically. When Vesta moves into Capricorn, the invitation is time to build a life of which we can be proud. Isn't that just delicious, folks? Isn't that just wonderful? Yes, this transit will instill a sense of responsibility and structure, motivating us to tackle challenges and achieve our goals with style. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful that this asteroid comes to us on this final day of the first half of this incredible double water month. Yeah, absolutely. So there you have it for now. My tummy hungry. I can smell my chicken soup is calling me. As always, I just want to remind you about my book, Wisdom Walk to Self Mastery. Somebody was saying that to me today, like, I don't have your book. How can I get your book? Which is always wonderful to hear that, because I really, really am very proud of being a keeper of the dagger of wisdom from West Africa. And this book really helps others learn how to get access to and to use this ancient wisdom to improve their experience of themselves and of their life. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And also want to share you with this book because I really think we're in a very powerful time for women to really come into the truth of who they are, not in terms of, being in competition with men or needing men to tell them whether they're beautiful or not, but women really walking into their self mastery and personal sovereignty. And so this book is designed to support anyone who's ready for self discovery, self reclamation, and self love. And it's by Malene Kybell, and it's called Reclaim the Sacred Self, the Way of the Heart Protector. Yeah, absolutely. And you can find that, like my book, online, Amazon, um, and other online booksellers will have it for you as well. Yeah. Couple of more quotes to close out the night with. Miranda said, had that energy today that we were talking about before. How wonderful. Nicole Monet McCallum says, such a pleasure. Thank you. It's a pleasure to know that you were listening and enjoying the messages that I was sharing. Thank you for that feedback. Absolutely. Daphne says, get the book, y'all. Miranda and Nick and Chris. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for that promo. Hector says it's happening. So feed yourself some chicken loves. Yes, that is so important, right? I'm turning it into a ritual. Absolutely. And then Tracy says, thank you so much, Judge Pa. Hang in there, everyone. Miranda says yes to that. Absolutely. So, my darlings, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here, for being who you are and the truth of who you are, for walking your wisdom. I'm so excited to see what this month of November is going to render for all of us, where it is going to be taking us, because we are really at the threshold of an entirely, entirely new time, a new era has, really shown up. And I am just wanting everybody to really, really know that and take full advantage of what this has for all of us. Thank you so much again for being here, for chiming in, letting me know that what I'm saying is being appreciated. I'm so grateful for that. And I will be back again next Sunday with the week of the 16th through, I think it's the 23rd of astrology for you. There's a lot more stuff going on. Yeah. So I'm taking it in bunches. And the elemental wisdom for this month, for the double water month, will be up live streaming around noon Central Time this Wednesday. I will make that happen. So, all right, my darlings, again, have a beautiful rest of your evening. Have a fabulous, fabulous week. And I look forward to talking with you again very soon. Bye bye now. I'm going to get my chicken.